Alrighty, let's take a look at our homework for lesson 1.1.2. The M&Ms, first off, are all about the coordinate graph. The coordinate grid is a 4-quadrant kind of a grid or graph where you've got a y-axis, which is your vertical axis, and your x-axis is the horizontal axis. And it breaks down data that can go into 4 different sections. Now, it's kind of interesting. This is always the first section. This is quadrant 1. And the reason why this is quadrant 1 is because all of the numbers in this section are positives. So remember, this is the origin right there where you've got 0, 0. So everything to the right of that, those are all positive numbers. Everything above here are all positive numbers. Compared to quadrant 2, where the x values are negatives, in quadrant 3, both the x's and the y's are all negative numbers. And in quadrant number 4, the y values are negative. So most of the time when we're doing problem solving, we're working with whole numbers. So we tend to work in quadrant 1. Now, the reason why it goes in this direction, I'm not really certain, but it is, this coordinate grid was developed by a mathematician by the name of Rene Descartes, which is why they call it the Cartesian plane. And they had to come up with some order, so they just decided to make it in the shape of a C. That's the story I'm going with. I'm sticking with it. And now, when you have ordered pairs, they're always XY coordinates, where the X comes first, the Y comes second. So if you want to plot this point, you start at the origin, and if X is 3, you count up to 3 on the X-axis. And then Y is 2, you count up to 2 on the Y-axis from that point, and that's your ordered pair, 3, 2. So you've got to be careful that you start with the X coordinate first. X comes before Y in the alphabet. It's the first number in the ordered pair. Okay, so everything else pretty self-explanatory, I'm sure. Now let's take a look at tile patterns. Here is kind of an L-shaped tile pattern where figure 1 has 3, figure 2 has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and figure 3 has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, it looks like it's increasing by 2 every single time. And where do you see the 2 being added on? It looks like this one here and this one here added on to figure 1 to make figure 2. And then this guy here and this guy there got added on to figure 2 to make figure 3. So we'll continue with that trend, adding 1 to the top and 1 to the bottom row every single time. So you always have each figure numbers 2 more than the previous. Now, what would figure 100 look like? Well, this is going to take a little bit more analysis. It looks like, what does it look like? We start off, if we were to go backwards, wouldn't we start with figure 0 would just be like this? And every figure adds another 2. So if you consider this being the original that starts with all of them, then you just take the figure number and double it and then add that 1. So 2x plus 1 looks like that would be the rule for this particular situation. So the 100th figure would have started with your figure 0 there in the bottom left-hand corner, but you'd have 100 going up and 100 going to the right for a total of 201 total tiles. This and this are going to take a little while. Being able to see the pattern of growth and create the next couple of figure numbers, that's a little bit easier, okay? But we are going to continue working on this for a while. We've got part of a chapter that's devoted to these types of figures and translating the pattern into rules and putting the data into tables. So we'll work on it some more, quite a bit more. All right, copy the axes below onto your paper. Add an appropriate scale. I guess, yeah, just copy the scale that they have available to us. And then it says, Dog Eat Dog has a supreme hot dog that weighs 80 grams and has 40 grams of fat. Okay, so the Y is the grams of fat, and the total weight is the X. So we would put the X number first and the Y value after that. So this is going to be 80, 40. And then hot doggies, what's the data on the hot doggies? It says it's 50 grams with 9 grams of fat. So 50, and then the grams of fat are the Y, and that would be 9. So 50 and 9, that's a little bit below the 10 mark right there. And then Doggylicious is 40, 30. It weighs 40 and the fat is 30. So 40, 30 is 40. 1, 2, 30 goes right around there. Okay, so which one is the healthiest? Would the one with the least amount of fat be the healthiest? So hot doggies would be the healthiest. Which one seems the least healthy? This one's got lots and lots of grams total and grams of fat. So I would put them, I would say reading from left to right is probably the healthiest, right? So healthy, less healthy. No, I guess not. Maybe it's not from left to right. Maybe it's up and down. I don't know. I feel like that one's the healthiest. But they didn't ask us, so let's move on. All right, copy and complete the sequence below. All right, so going from 1 to 3, 3 to 6, 6 to 10, what's happening every single time there? We're not adding by 2s. What is this? Plus 2 there. This one is plus 3, then it's plus 4. Oh, okay, so the next one will be plus 5, then plus 6. Here it looks like we're taking half of the previous number as we go. Here it looks like it's similar to that. It's, oh, everything is times 3, isn't it? So 1 times 3, 3 times 3, 9 times 3, 27 times 3, 81 times 3. And this one counts back 1, then counts back 2, then counts back 3, then minus 4, then minus 5. And on this one, what do we count back 2, then we add 5, then we count back 2, then we add 5. So this would have to count back 2 before you add 5. All right, diamond problems. This tells you right here what to do. When you put them together, that means they're being multiplied. When you show the x plus y, that means they're being added. So this number plus this number equals negative 14. And then when you multiply the two numbers, a negative times a negative gives you positive 45. Here we have to ask the question, what two numbers do you multiply together to give you 6 that when added give you 5? And so 1 times 6 would add together to make 7, right? And then 2 times 3 adds together to give you 5. So that's the combination that we need. So once again, if you ever have any questions on any of these, if I don't thoroughly explain each one, go ahead and contact me. I'd be happy to explain it as best as I can to you how to solve those problems. Also, you should know by now that, if I'm going too fast, please pause the video and make your corrections if you need to, and then you can resume and go at your own pace. All right, so use the graph at the right to answer the following questions about quadrants and coordinates. Read the math notes. You should have already taken care of that. So what are the coordinates of the 2 points in quadrant 2? So this is quadrant 2 right there. Remember, this is 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this point here is where x is negative 3 and y is equal to, looks like we're counting by 1s there, 1. That's this guy right there. And this one is where x is equal to negative 2 and y is equal to 3. What are the two quadrants, 2 points in quadrant 4? Well, this would be where x is 2 and y is negative 1. So that's this one right here. And this is where x is 3 and y is negative 2. Okay. All right. So hopefully you did well on your homework. Please always make sure that you're copying graphs and tables. Copy all these down. Don't just write the answers because, if you're trying to make a correction and trying to figure out where you made your mistake, if you're not copying your work and showing your work, you're not going to be able to figure out where your mistakes are, and you're likely to make the same mistakes on an assessment. We don't want that. So do a good job of recording your work, and you will be much more successful than if you're just writing down random answers as quickly as you can to get your homework done as quickly as possible. All right, take care. Bye. Bye.
Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in dark, I walk around the neighborhood.